Hi, welcome to episode 158 of the PassioKnit Spinner podcast. My name is Tracy. You can find me as Schnüffeltier on Ravelry and Instagram. I do have a Ravelry group that's quite inactive, but it's there. I do also have a Discord server, and I will put a link for that in the description box, but it's only valid for 7 days. So if you watch this, in the future, that link will be expired. So just, to say that. I also do have a Patreon where I post very frequently, and I will also leave a link to that in the description box. So, long time no see, right? Okay. I know, I said I wanted to do this more often, and I really do. I still do. I miss podcasting. I miss the community around it and everything. It's just, with the whole, I have a hair in somewhere here, with the whole pandemic and lockdowns and incidences and I really want to get back to it. I want to try and do a bi-weekly podcast, because right now we're at about one every 6 weeks, and that is just too long. I want to get back to it. I want to do it every other week at least, and yeah, we'll try. We will find out how this works. So let's get started. What I'm wearing is also the first thing for knitting in the past. I finished a sweater, and it is the Boxy by Joji Locatelli. So I'm going to show you the pattern. This is what it looks like. This is the Boxy. It's my second Boxy. I've knit one before out of Wollmeise in a red colorway. No idea which red, but it is Wollmeise. And for that, I did reduce the cast on stitches significantly. So it's still oversized, but not super oversized. This one I knit according to pattern, and I knit the smallest size, but I changed things for the sleeves. So now let me show you the yarn. So this is the yarn that I used. This is the leftover I had, and it is Citron Trekking XXL. And the yarn I bought at the Schoppelwolle factory outlet shop 15 years ago, I'm gonna say. And it was a pack with however much this weighs plus this. And I paid €3.70 for it, because it was all super small skeins, leftover bits and pieces that I pieced together for this sweater. And I don't think it shows. I think this doesn't look like I had a million bits and bobs. So I think it's important to talk about cost, because, I've said this before, the knitting community can be very snobbish when it comes to yarns used and, fiber content and whatever. And I think that's bullshit. I do. I think that you should knit with whatever makes you happy and whatever you can afford. So this sweater here, the yarn cost me €3.70. The pattern I bought cost $6 or €6. And I've knit it twice now, and I have a third one in the works, which reduces price to €2 per sweater. So this sweater cost me €5.70 to make. And I personally think it turned out fucking awesome. So I'm gonna show it to you. So this is the sweater. It is very colorful, well, very loud, very boom. And I'm a bit too close to camera. I can't. Okay, here you can see the whole thing, kind of, barely. It is very oversized. As you can see, my body is here, and this is the sweater. But that's how it's supposed to be. And I did everything like the pattern says, except for the sleeves. These sleeves are super tiny and short. First of all, my sleeves are a bit shorter than they should be, because I didn't want to risk running out of yarn. So I knit them both at the same time out of the last skein of yarn that I had. One from the outside, one from the inside. And when I thought that it's going to be a bit critical to continue, I just stopped. The other thing is, for the smallest size that I knit sweater-wise, I should have had the sleeve opening about this big without that part. And my arm would not have fit in there. So what I did is I stopped knitting the body about an inch before I should have stopped according to pattern. And then I did the flat bit after separating, again, according to pattern and the length that the pattern calls for in total, which gave me a larger sleeve opening. So I did my sleeve for the 3rd size instead of the smallest size. And that turned out just beautifully. I mean, I'm so happy with this. It's like I said, my second one. The first one is a semi-solid red. Now I have this, and the third one is going to be completely different. I'm not going to spoil that. I'm working on something and I think it's going to be amazing. But that's, you know, it's in the future sometime. So yeah, that is the boxy. I started this sweater sometime this year. I'm going to say April, maybe March. And I started it for easy knitting, mainly because I wanted to have a second one, because I've been wearing the first one non-stop. Boxy leggings, perfect around the house attire. And so I wanted to have a second one that's super easy to care for. And as this is a normal sock yarn, it is super easy to care for. So I did knit on it while reading books, and then it became my in-between project. So every time I had finished something, or I didn't know what to knit on, or everything I had on the needles was something where I had to think about stuff, I would work on this one. And only last week I put my focus on it to finish it up. Before that, it's just a bit here, a bit there, and it got done in the end. So I'm really, really happy with it. But it's not the only sweater I finished. I finished another sweater, and I'm going to show it to you on a hanger because I don't want to change because this is very warm. So this here is a single layer of sock yarn, and I knit the sweater on a US 3, that's a 3.25 millimeter needle. This here is a double layer of sock yarn, and I knit it on a 4.5 mil needle, that's a US 7. So this is significantly warmer, and I'm already quite warm. So second sweater I finished is the Whatever sweater. The pattern is by Julie Knits in Paris. And this is my third version of this pattern. I think the pattern costs €1.50. It's super cheap, even if it's €2. It's under €2, I'm sure. So my third version, which makes this a 50-60 cent pattern. And I used 6 skeins of commercial sock yarn that I've had in my stash for, I'd say, between 10 and 15 years. Again, super old stash. And it just turned out perfect. So let's try and find all the leftover bits and pieces, because I brought them in theory. I have a lot of other things in the bag as well, because there's more stuff to show. Okay, I'm trying. I have used 6 skeins of commercial sock yarn. I think I found them. I also found the pattern. So, okay, let's talk pattern. The pattern, like I said, is by Julie Knits in Paris, who is a wonderful human being. And this is it. That's her sweater. Hers is very oversized and comfy. It is called the Whatever sweater. It was released last year during lockdown as a just work on this and don't think a lot about it. You know, just go with whatever works. And I've made 2 last year. And this is my third one. And all 3 of them turned out super different. The first one is a pastel-y beige, light blue, some minty green in it, which is hip length, 3/4 length sleeves. The second one goes to my waist, is very fitted, has short sleeves, and is green. And now I have a third version, which is hip length again, probably a bit longer than the first one, long sleeves, and in those purpley reddish colors. So I had 6 skeins of commercial sock yarn, and that's the leftovers of them. So I had 1 solid that I also used for another project I'm going to show you in a minute. So that is a solid, as you can see. And this, I don't know if I have the labels as well. Let me check. Ah, looks good. Okay, now let's find out if I still know which one's which, but I think I do. Okay, good. So this one here, again, is Meilenweit from Citron. No, it's Lana Grossa Meilenweit, sorry. Oh, the other one's trekking. So this is Lana Grossa Meilenweit. Then, where do I put this now? I had one skein of Passion sock yarn that I got a long time ago, and it looked like this. And they all were those like marred color, slight color changes, like a gradient, but not really. I had one skein of Regia sock yarn, and that was this one here. And that's the label for that. And then I had two 50-gram skeins of Hjerte sock, which is, I bought, I think, on vacation, either in Stockholm or in Helsinki. I don't remember. And I'm not sure if it says here. I think I bought this in Stockholm. So that's this yarn here, two 50-gram skeins. And the other two yarns I used up almost completely. And they are both Schoppelwolle Admiral Dégradé. No, it's not true. One of them is Dégradé, one of them is Ombre. I have no idea what the difference is. But these two I used up almost completely. And that is because these two were held together for all of the ribbing in the sweater. And I started my sweater with a folded neckline because I really like the look of a folded neckline. So that's the first thing I did. Then I followed the pattern, did those super cute flowery increases, and I just marled the shit out of my yarn. And it turned out so nice. These sleeves I did at the same time, so I could use the same colors on both sleeves, you know. I'm not sure if you will be able to tell, but those sleeves are exactly the same, which I think was, you know, probably more work than I should have made, because I don't think you can tell. I don't care either way. So my modifications for this, I did a folded hem, folded neckline, and I decreased stitches in the sleeves to make them go a bit more fitted instead of super overweight and flowy. And that is it. Everything else I did according to pattern. Like I said, it's my third time using this pattern and I'm really happy with it. So considering the fact that I used only commercial sock yarn for this, and I'm gonna say a skein of commercial sock yarn in Germany is somewhere between 6 and 9 euros. So let's say they were 7, because I've had them for a long time and they were not expensive, I remember. So 6 times 7 is what? 42? 6 times 6 is 36, so yeah, 42. Yeah, let's go with 42. Plus the 2 for the sweater pattern. So this was under 45 euros, which again, I think is a very good price for a beautiful sweater that I will be able to wear for years and years and years to come. So yeah, this was also super quick. I cast this on October 13th and I finished on the 27th of October. So exactly 2 weeks on the needles. I was knitting on a deadline, I have to admit that, because I went to visit Julie in Paris for a few days. And she took me to see Versailles, which is something I've wanted to do since I was a child. It was really a dream come true and I could not have been more excited. And I wanted to wear this sweater paired with a dress I'm going to show later for the sewing segment. So I did knit on a deadline and I finished the sleeve cuffs the evening before we went to Versailles at Julie's house. So that is this sweater done. The next things I have done are accessories. So I finished a cowl and I did not bring the pattern, and I do not remember the designer. I think her Instagram handle is PNW Designs, for Pacific Northwest Designs. And this is the Autumn Doodle Cowl. You get a pattern with a lot of different colorwork charts that you can mix and match the way you want. And I went for this one. The yarn that I used is Toft. And I really like it. I think this turned out super pretty. I will not put it on. I'm just gonna show it to you like this. Just pretend it's on my neck. And yeah, I really like it. I think this turned out so nice. I'm not sure what to do with it. If I should keep it or gift it, I don't know. I'm gonna show you the floats because why not? So here is my beginning of round. As you can see, all of the ends woven in. And here's the other side. I just love color work. I would not have thought that I would ever say it, but I really love it. So that is the Autumn Doodle Cowl. She also has a Christmas doodle. I think it's called Christmas or Festive Doodle. I think it's called the Festive Doodle Cowl, where you also get a bunch of different colorwork charts that all work together, and you can mix and match and arrange them the way you want. And they are all Christmas themed patterns. And I have bought that pattern as well, but I will not get to it before Christmas. So Autumn Doodle Cowl out of Toft. And I knit this on a 4mm needle, maybe. I don't quite know. The brown was 100 gram skein, and the yellow, green, and orange were 25 gram skeins. They were significantly smaller. They were like this big. And I used up everything of those. And I still have some of the brown left. So I bought the yarn at the Knitting and Stitching show in Dublin 4 years ago and have no clue what I paid. I don't know. And I didn't go and find out. So that's the Autumn Doodle Cowl. I have also finished the knitting of a folded, knotted headband. So this will go on here like this, and you will, I will seam it together so it has a knot in here. I still have the seaming part to do, as you could see, but the knitting is done. And for that, I used a leftover yarn. That's this one here. It's hand dyed by my friend Sandra from Kunta Kunti Wolle, and a skein of Lana Grossa silk hair. That's what this is. This cost €8 a skein. This is a leftover, and the pattern's for free. I used a drops pattern because that was exactly what I wanted, because this one here is knit as a tube. So it's extra warm, double layers, super thick. And I just wanted to have that. It took surprisingly long to knit, but I will seam it together, and this is going to be a gift. And you will probably not see it again. So now on to the last two things I've done. And for that, I need this one again. So, like I said, I went to Paris I went to Paris to visit my friend Julie, and I had the whatever sweater to take so I could finish it. But I also wanted to take, travel knitting, easy stuff that you can haul around. So I knit socks for Tim because he demanded new socks. I mean, rightfully so. So these are the two pairs that I made. The first one I started is this one here. And it's a bit different. I don't even remember. I think starting here, it's this is a different yarn than this. So the yarn for this, the glittery Christmas yarn, is from Hobby, and I bought this last year and knit a pair of socks for myself, and this is the leftover of my pair up until here, where the red goes into the green. And I finished the first sock. I already knew that it would be a bit, wouldn't probably not be enough. So I packed a leftover skein of this gray Dropsfabel, I think, and used that for heels and toes, but not cuffs. And then I finished the first sock, and I was knitting on the second sock, and I ran out of yarn here. And then I thought, okay, should I just finish it in the black or dark gray? Should I rip this one back a bit and, you know, have the gray start here on both? But then I remembered I have more of this yarn at home, just the different colorways, and they're all the same main colors, but they're arranged a bit differently. So I just put this on a stitch holder that Julie gave me and finished it at home with a different skein of the same yarn. So that's the first pair. Tim loves them. He cannot wait to wear them because not only are they glittery, they glitter gold, which is his favorite color at the moment. Everything that's gold is for him. So these are his Christmas socks. And the other pair, since I had run out of yarn on this sock here, I started another one and I had brought leftovers. For that, I brought this leftover here. And, you know, I knew that this wouldn't be enough. So what I did after I finished my sweater, I had the leftovers off the sweater and I used the one solid skein I had in the sweater to pair with this leftover, which is also leftover from a skein, a pair of socks that I knit 12, 13 years ago. So this has been in my stash for a long time as well. And I ended up with this pair of socks. And I think they turned out really cute. I knew that I had not enough of this yarn, so I just 10 rows, no, 5 before and 5 after the heel, I put in the contrast and did the pair like this. And I think they turned out really nice. I mean, I like how they look. Tim likes how they look. So he has now 2 new pairs of socks. And in case you're wondering, these are sock blockers from a German shop called Butinette. You can buy them in a set, children's sizes and adult sizes, and you get 1 blocker each. So you have to buy 2 sets. So I basically bought 2 of the child sets and 2 of the adult sets to get the blockers. But I think the sizes are off. So this is supposedly the 34-35, and that is the 32-33. I knit a size 33-34 for Tim. So they are a bit snug on here and they fit perfectly on there. So I can show them to you. Now that's the socks and that's the finished objects for this time round. For 6 weeks, it's not too bad, right? I think that's fine. Now let's talk about what I'm actually working on right now. In theory, I'm gonna get rid of all the leftover yarns that I have to put away first, so I have a bit more room. Okay, good, done. Now, on my needles is first up a pair of socks. I'm gonna talk about this in a second when it comes to sewing. I started a pair of socks out of this yarn, which I used to finish up this sock. So from here forward is this yarn. And I started this sock yesterday. It's going to be for my husband. I asked him if he wanted to have a glittery gold glitter Christmas sock, and he said, sure, let's do that. So that's what I'm doing. It looks like this so far. I am knitting with 72 stitches, top down, US 2s, which is a 2.75 millimeter needle. And Tim's socks were knit with 56 stitches. Same construction, top down. Traditional heel flap gusset, slip stitch heel to make it reinforce itself. And yeah, so this is my husband's sock. And that's the yarn. Like I said, it is from Hobby. And I can hopefully show you the label. I think it's in here. It is. So this is the label. It looks like that. I've made a pair for myself last year and I really like how it turned out. I've washed them so many times, and the thing with these sock yarns that don't have the stellina, but this super glitter, this glitter is a very scratchy thing. It's almost like a piece of metal, but on the foot, I don't mind at all. When I wear the socks, I don't think I can feel it. So I either have like super non-sensitive socks or you just can't feel it when it's on your foot. One of those two. So that's the socks, the bag we're gonna get to. The next thing I'm going to show is the, what is it, Shawlography shawl by Stephen West, which is this year's Mystery Knit Along, but it's been finished for a few weeks now and I haven't finished. So I'm going to show you my progress so far. I finished clues 1 3/4. I have not yet finished clue 2, but this is what my shawl looks like. I have done clue 1, which was this first part here. And then so these are like this. Then we have this slip stitch section and those I-cord loops, and that was the end of clue 1. And then came this part, some welts, which I really liked doing, those triangles, bobbles. And now I'm working on some short rows. And this is where I had to stop because I needed to knit a sweater so I could have that for Paris. So I have a bit more to do. I'm going to show you the yarns. I have no labels, I think. Oh, I have labels. Okay. So I have this yellow. I bought this in Dublin, I think. I'm not sure. I do have labels here. I'm not sure if I know which one goes to which skein. So let's just try. Okay. Yeah, I have no clue. Let's just not. Let's not do this. I have no idea. I have this yellow, which is a single, and it's the only single. And I have this dark blue. And these two are attached right now for knitting those short rows. And then I have a skein of this purple, which is Cakewalk yarns. I just now, oh, I found the 5th one. I really want to show you these. So this is Cakewalk. Cakewalk's out of business, sorry. This is 100% merino. Now, let's try this again. I think this blue yarn is Sunshine Yarns Singing the Blues because it's super nice and soft, and this label here is also, first of all, it's Singing the Blues, so it's a blue one, and it is a merino cashmere nylon, and this fits with this yarn. So it's Sunshine Yarns. Then let's go on. The yellow, I'm sure, I am very sure, this is this yarn. I got this as a gift from my friend Linda from Iceland, and it's an Icelandic dyer, and I have no idea how to say it, but the colorway is, I think, a bird, a yellow bird. And it's this word here that I cannot pronounce. So that's the yellow. I'm getting there. And I have one more single that I forgot about. It's this super, super nice turquoise, petrol is a German word, teal. This turquoisey teal that is super loud, but it does wash out on camera. And that one is from the Fiber Kitchen. And it's called Blue Chai. And it is a, what is it? What are you? I'm gonna say it's a merino yarn. I don't know. I bought this in Dublin. That's the one from Dublin. The yellow one is from Iceland. And the last one is this skein here. And this is from Garn Stories, which is a German dyer. And it is another 100% merino. So that's it. Those are my 5 colors. I'm really happy with it so far. I'm not sure yet if I like the shape, because I love these semi-circle skeins, shawls, but the short rows give it a shape I'm not super happy with. So I'm considering because when you knit short rows, you don't change the stitch count. So I'm considering doing less short rows to give it less of the shape. I don't know. I'm just gonna follow the pattern and it's gonna work out in the end. I have one more thing to show you, and I need this hanger. I have one more sweater. I started this sweater like two weeks ago, and I love it. It is a sweater that's knit in intarsia technique, and it is by a Danish designer, and it is the Megalara Sweater by Shiny Superhero. That is her Instagram handle and also her design name, you know. So it's the Megalara Sweater. This is supposed to be knit out of a bulky weight on 8mm needles, and I'm not doing that at all. So what I'm doing, I'm knitting this out of hand spun. That's one of them. One of my first ever hand dyed skeins of yarn that I ever spun up. And that's the other one. And the third one is attached right now, which makes this not so easy. It's this one. So the main yarn I'm using looks like this. It's another Schoppelwolle yarn that I bought at their factory outlet store. And this is called Alpaca Queen. It is a slightly felted single, and it is an alpaca, merino, and silk mix. So that's my main yarn. And it is a traditional worsted weight. It has 200 meters per 100 grams. My hand spun is, you know, on the thicker side. So what I decided to do was, I'm knitting this sweater on a 6mm needle and use a 5 for the ribbings. And I knit the second largest size. I did not do a gauge swatch. I wanted to have it a bit, be it a bit oversized. So I just thought, it's gonna work out, and it looks like it will. So I'm too lazy to knit a swatch, I'm sorry. So I have a hole here, as you can see, which will disappear. I had to attach the blue, you know, started here. So once I weave in the blue end in the back, it will be gone. No end, no hole left. So this is the front. I finished the back. I have 4 skeins of yarn attached to this right now, so I'm making a gigantic mess. It rolls because it's stuck in it, you know. This goes out quite a bit more than it's showing. But I have this dot down here, this color up here, and this color here on the side. And it will also be in the sleeves, will be more dots. So yeah, this is the back. I am working on the front right now, and I have 4 skeins of yarn attached. 1 gray here, then the hand spun, another gray here, and the other hand spun. Because this is intarsia, so you know, you have a skein for every color block. Wow, that's a hiccup. Hopefully it's the last one. So, Megalara Sweater, super happy with it. It's on 6mm needles, it's flying. This is a super quick project, and I'm really happy with it. I think it's going to be very nice. So this is the actual shoulder width, and here it looks a bit weird, but I think this is gonna block right out. So that's the actual width on one shoulder, which makes it not too dissimilar to the boxy I'm wearing. So I think it's going to be very pretty in the end. I'm really happy with this. I think it's a perfect pattern to showcase your handspun yarn. Use a solid for the background and let the handspun shine. I'm really, really, really happy. This will be so pretty. I kind of regret using the this one in the front and this one in the back because I like this one better, but oh well, it is what it is. It's gonna be pretty either way. So yeah, that is this sweater. It's, like I said, intarsia. If you've never done intarsia, I have done a tutorial on how to knit intarsia for my Patreon. You can check that out in the description box with the link if you want. And it's in my super stylish project bag from the Hard Rock Cafe, which is not a project bag, but you know, it's one of those things. And I usually just have it hanging here on my chair. I can work on it whenever. And that is it for my active works in progress and what I've finished. Let's talk about knitting in the future, because I have a few things. I'm going to show you patterns without yarns first. So earlier this year in the summer, we went to Italy, and I bought a cone of yarn that is a very beautiful green with tiny sequins in it in all kinds of colors. And my friend Orietta, who I visited when I was in Italy, and my friend Linda from Iceland, we did like a FaceTime while I was there, and decided that I had to knit a Christmas jumper for Tim using this green yarn for a Christmas tree. So I'm gonna do another intarsia sweater right after I finish this one. And I'm going to use a pattern from this magazine that I've used before. And it is the pattern for the penguin sweater. I knit this penguin sweater for Tim 3-4 years ago, and I'm sure you can remember. So I'm going to use this pattern because it works. I've knit it before, it's super easy. This is going to be the pattern. It's going to be a solid dark gray, very similar to the color I'm using for my sweater right now. So dark gray for the whole sweater. And this is going to be the, you know, the sweater pattern I'm using. And from a different magazine, this one here, I'm going to use this chart, but not do it like that. I'm going to use this chart here, make it a bit more pointy and go out a bit more. And then I will, yeah, I think it's going to be easier once I started to explain what I have planned, but I think it's going to be very pretty. So it's going to be dark gray. The tree is going to be the green with the sequins, and probably a different green held together because the dark gray is a worsted weight. And the cone is more like a fingering. So I either hold that double or I will put in something else. And on top of my tree, I want to knit a gold sparkly star and embroider stars around it. So that's the plan for this sweater. And it's going to be Tim's new Christmas jumper. And hopefully he will be able to wear it for like 2 years, maybe 3. This Christmas and then 2 more. I really hope I can manage that. So that's that one. The other one I have planned is in this big bag from Mad Bird. And it is the Reindeer cardigan by Martin Story. It is this cardigan here. It's a men's jumper. This is a free pattern. And I mean, the pattern looks like this. That's the whole pattern for the whole thing. And this is the chart for everything. First of all, this chart is teeny tiny. I cannot read that. And also it holds the front, the back, and the sleeves. So I have to draw my own charts to make this happen in a way. And also I will make this into a semi-fitted cropped cardigan for myself. Because I saw Heidi, who is Books and Cables on Instagram, and she has knit that exact sweater in cropped female instead of oversized male long. And I just fell in love with it. So I wanted to make this. And I found kind of the perfect yarn in my stash. So I had ordered yarn for the red and the whitish, but the red was a bit too pink and the white was a bit too yellow, so they didn't really work for what I wanted. And I had a vintage blouse cast on out of the yarn I'm going to show you. And I just fell out of love with it, so I frocked it. So I have now 3 skeins of this yarn, which is another Schoppelwolle yarn. And this is my favorite yarn ever. It is called Alp Lino. It is a South German merino paired with an organic French linen, and it is non-superwash, and it is the most amazing yarn. I love this yarn. I love knitting with it. And I really like this red. It is a way darker. This is more the color than this. It blows out quite a bit. This is it. This dark, winey red. So this is going to be my main color. And I have 3 skeins of it, which should be enough for a cropped sweater for myself. And I've been looking through my stash yesterday for a, for the white. And I found like a neutral undyed yarn. But I think the contrast is a bit too harsh. I don't like it all that much. And then I found this single skein from Hedgehog Fibers. It is their sock yarn, which is a 90-10 merino nylon. And I got this in the Potluck Club. And it says silence seconds, because this is not what it's supposed to be. And I really like these two together. But I have only 1 skein of this, which is a problem because I probably need about 150 grams. So between 150 and 200, I think I will need to knit this sweater with this as the contrast. So now I've been trying to go through my stash and find a yarn that is a kind of like this, so that I can basically alternate the contrast yarns, every row to go with this. But I'm not sure if I will be able to do that. So if you have a skein of Hedgehog Fibers in the silence colorway that you do not want, or that you wish to trade or sell, please let me know, because I really, really, really want to knit this cardigan. And I think that these two would be a great pair, because this is not super boring. I don't know. I just really, really like this. Otherwise, I have to continue looking for yarn. So that is this. That is my plan. I want to make this cardigan. And of course, as it's the reindeer cardigan, ideally, I would make this before Christmas. But I mean, Tim's sweater is a priority. And I do have some Christmas knitting to do. Only some socks left. My Christmas list is short, and the list of people who will get hand knits is even shorter. So I don't have a lot that I have to do, but a bit. I also have one thing to show you for new stuff. And it's one thing that makes me very happy. I got a kit from Marie Wallin. I have been at EYF 3 times, and 3 times in a row I wanted to buy this kit, but 3 times I thought, it's very expensive. But I love this cardigan so much. Maybe next year. And I never picked it up. And then Marie Wallin just came out with a new book called Cherish, where she picked up her favorite designs that she's done so far and redid the colors for the new version. And one of the designs she picked up is the chestnut cardigan, which is this here. And it is my absolute favorite thing. I'm gonna show you the bigger picture. So this is the chestnut cardigan. It is my absolute dream project. And in those colors, because these are autumnal colors, they are very much my palette, And I wanted to make it out of her yarn, ideally, but this was a very expensive kit, and I just didn't want to pay that much money if I didn't have to. So I had plans on ordering Holst yarn color swatch charts, cardi things, and pick the colors from their yarn and knit it out of Holst yarn instead, because that would reduce the price to 1/3 of what her pattern kits are. And then she came out with this new color palette for her new book, which includes new kits for her shop. So she put all the old kits with the old colors on sale. And so I picked it up. So in here I have the yarn amount that I need of her yarn, and it is called British Breeds. It is very, very, very sheepy. It just says 100% British wool made in the UK. I'm not sure what the actual... Oh, a fine blend of wool spun in Devon from the Blue-Faced Leicester, Exmoor, Wensleydale and Swabbles sheep breeds. These are 25 gram skeins, and there's a lot of them in here. I got the larger size kit because I'm not tiny. So I will knit the chestnut cardigan for myself sometime in the future. I'm considering making this my Christmas Eve cast on, but I don't know yet because I wanted to make another Marie Wallin cardigan first, the Yell cardigan to be specific. I want to make that one first so I know, you know, all the things and what's going on before starting my dream project. So yeah, that's that. That's what I got. I've been very good when it comes to buying yarn. This year, for the first time, I think ever, I knit up way more than I bought. And that makes me very happy. But this I just had to get. It's so pretty. So that's that. Now let's think, because show notes are, you know, I haven't written show notes in forever. I have done all of that. There's no spinning. I do have some sewing. I made project bags, 2 of them, and they look like this. So this is mine. I made 2 of these. It's, you know, it holds some yarn. Let's take out the project. It holds my husband's Christmas sock. So if I take the project out, you can see it does have a shape to it. I use different fabrics, sewn the strips together and made this project bag. The pattern is a free pattern from I don't remember. It's a free pattern that I used. It is super simple to sew. It has a boxed bottom and a drawstring, which is my first drawstring bag that I made. And I made 2 of them. They're the exact same. Mine has purple lining. The other one had blue lining. Mine has a ribbon with pink flowers. The other one had a ribbon with blue butterflies. And the blue one I gave to my friend Julie when I stayed at her house. And this one is mine. So that's the first thing I did for sewing. And why can I not remember? So, no, it's not. I don't remember who designed the bag. But it's a free pattern. I'm sure if you search drawstring pattern free, you will find this. And the other thing, I made a dress to go with my whatever sweater. And it looks like this. So this here is the Emery Dress by Christine Haynes. I adore it. So this fabric is from Cotton and Steel, and it is this gorgeous yarn fabric. And I've wanted to have a knitting dress forever. So this is perfection. It has, of course, pockets, because why would you sew a dress without pockets? And it is very easy to make, but it did take a lot of time. I don't know why. I've made a lot of dresses before, and this is an easy construction, but it took quite a while. So this ends just about an inch above my knee, which is a good length. And I put in this black color, which has writing on it. That is in French, or Julie discovered when I was visiting her. And in the back, it looks like this. I think it turned out quite well. Invisible zip. And the bodice is lined. And the pattern tells you to line it with your normal fabric, but I did not have more of that fabric. I couldn't make this happen. So I used this fabric for the inside. And I'm sure when you look at it, you know exactly why I used it for lining, because it's really ugly. I have absolutely no idea where it came from. And I just had enough to line this bodice. So I did. I used it for that. And when I wear it, you cannot tell because it's a lining. So the Emery dress, I did do my usual size adjustments, because my bust to my waist to my hip, I have a 3 size difference. So I have a 39-inch bust and a 36-inch waist, but a 46-inch hip. So I have to do a bit of adjustments to fit my ass into things that I make. And this is just perfect. And when I hold up the sweater next to it, you can just see how well these two go together. It was meant to be, it really was. I also have another knitting project, and it's going to be a cardigan that will also work super well with this dress, which makes me very happy because I plan on wearing this a lot. I also plan on making a lot more because it's super easy. I think it looks so well on me. So good. I like it. I like it. Let's keep it at that. So that's the sewing. For reading, listening, watching, I have been reading and listening to a lot of books. I'm at 66 books so far this year. I have not filmed an update, I think, since book 18. Or have I done one? I have done one 18 through 35, so I should do another one. I really should. And I will. So I'm not going to talk about books. What I've been watching is the Chicago franchise. My favorite is Chicago PD because it has my fictional husband in it. I love this show. I also like the other two shows, Met and Fire. So I've been watching a lot of that. I started rewatching Grimm while I was knitting the other day because I just felt like watching something I already knew what happened, and I really like Grimm. So that's the watching, and that is it for today for the normal podcast part. For everything else, I will have a VKN happening this Saturday. It's Monday today, so on Saturday we will have the, no clue because there's my phone with my calendar. I will write the actual date and everything in the Ravelry group and on the Discord server. And I will also put up Instagram stories on Friday to remind everybody that the VKN is going to happen on Saturday. We will meet each other like we always do at 9 o'clock Berlin time, evening, 9 p.m. And I hope to see you there. And I think that is it in general. Like I said before, I do have a Patreon where I do post videos twice a week. And I would love for you to join, of course, because it's, you know, of course I would love for you to join. And I think that's it. I'm going to stop now because this is very long, which, you know, when you only podcast once every 6 weeks, it's going to be long. I hope to be back in 2 weeks. I really do. I miss being on a regular schedule with this podcast. I miss talking to you. So we will find out if this is going to happen or not. Until then, I hope you all have a wonderful time and enjoy everything you do. Bye.